All right, everybody, welcome back to part 3 of your rat card assignment. We are going to start making these circles right here. And to do that, we are going to use the ellipse tool over here, this guy right here, this round guy above the hand, to make our circles. Now, I should tell you, I have already just put those two background elements we made into their own group. I just selected those layers and hit Command G and grouped them and named the group background elements. It's just a good habit to start organizing your layers. Still there, they're just in a group. All right, so let's start making these circles, and we're going to start with this giant one with the girl ziplining in it. So I'm going to grab my ellipse tool over here, and I am going to hold down my shift key and make sure you're holding down, because if you don't, you're just going to get a wild looking ellipse, and you don't want that. You want a perfectly round circle, and I'm going to drag out a rather large circle. Now it's kind of hard to see because it's only showing the stroke, it's not showing the fill. So let's change that. Over here in your properties tab, right over here, and if you don't have your properties tab open, it's in Windows properties right there. So if you go to the properties tab, you'll see that the fill has a red line through it, and that means there's no fill, and the stroke to the right of it is showing white. And you really can't see it that well either because it's only 1 pixel. So we're going to change that. Let's click on the stroke, the little square there, and click on this line, the slash with the line, this red slash here, right there. And that's telling the stroke no stroke. Now click on the fill one next to it and change that. You can pretty much change it to whatever color you want. I'm just going to pick a gray just for the sake of argument. It doesn't matter what color you pick because we're going to cover it up anyway. So there you go. Fill is gray and the stroke now has the line through it. And don't worry about the stroke because we're not showing one. All right, there we go. So now we have this ellipse layer right here. And that's this guy. And if you go to your move tool, V, or up there at the top, you can move him around. And I'm just going to move him there. Now, I could keep going to the ellipse tool and making blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But I've already got a vector ellipse made, so that's kind of okay. So let's just reuse this one over and over again. I have my first ellipse selected over here. I'm just going to hit Command J, and it made a copy of it. And if I drag up my copy, I can now free transform it, and I'm holding Shift, and I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller, kind of right about there. It's falling off a bit, okay? And I'm going to keep that one, and then I'm going to make this little tiny one down here at the bottom, so Command J again, and I'm going to drag it over and free transform, Command T, and holding my Shift key down, so it stays a circle. I do not want to see ellipses. I want to see perfect circles. And I'm going to drag that one right about there where those Hawaiian girls are, these hula girls. And let's take, I'm going to return. Let's copy that one again, Command J, and drag it up to, say, here, right? That'll be where our sailboat one is, right over here. And then copy that one again and drag it over here, and that will be where my snorkel girl is right there. And then let's do this last one right here, this girl up here kayaking. Let's just copy that one more time, drag it up, free transform, holding down my Shift key again so I can strain it, and let's do our 5th circle. And we're going to rearrange all these and make them put them where we want here in a few minutes, but you should now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ellipses on 6 different layers. Click, 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 and click. All right, whoop, I need that back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles, 6 layers. The reason we can keep copying and reshaping these is because they're vector-based, so it doesn't matter. They're not going to distort. They're not a raster-based image. They're complete vector, so we can size them up and do whatever we want. But I do want perfect circles, kind of like I did here. This is kind of the theme we're building. And we'll worry about the stroke around it later. Okay. I was actually going to split this thing up into 2 parts, but now since that went so quick, let's keep going. Let's start putting pictures into these circles. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to select all of the ellipse layers, all 6 of them. So I'm just going to click the top one, hold on my shift key and click the bottom one, and that will select all 6 of them over there. And we're going to group them, Command G or Control G, or if you want, hit that little folder down there on the bottom. And now all of my ellipses are in a group. Let's just call that group circles, C-I-R-C-L-E-S, circles. So you should have a group now. They're all in the same folder. They're all grouped together. And you should have 6 layers in there of your 6 circles. All right. So I am going to turn off all of them except the big one, the first one we just made, the very first one, the one with the zip line girl. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the picture of this girl and we're going to clip it to this circle. That's why it really doesn't matter what color these circles are. It's incidental. So making sure my first ellipse is selected over here in my layers palette, this guy right here, that was the first one I drew. Okay, we're going to put a picture inside this circle. Let's go find the photo of her, and I gave it to you. File, open, pictures, and it says zipline woman. And I'm going to open that, and it's a pretty big picture actually. So that plays well, and it's shot with a really sort of wide lens. All right, so here we go. We need this girl over here. So over here in this image, let's just grab her and toss her in. Holding down my shift key, I'm going to grab the layer and drag that layer over to my working document, and there it is. We don't need her anymore, so let's close that document. And as you can see, the picture is way bigger than the document. There's our document. Now we need that picture to be inside this circle, so we're going to clip it. So a couple ways to do that. First of all, the picture has to be above the circle in the layers palette. So there's my circle. The picture has to be right above that in the layers. All right, so I could hold down my Alt key and click right in the middle of those 2 layers. You can see I get a little turn down arrow right there, and if I do, it'll put the picture inside that circle. Or I can pick that photo and go to layers and create clipping mask, and it'll do the same thing. So either or, you can either hold down your Alt key, click in between those 2 layers, and it'll clip, or you can select that layer and go to layer, create clipping mask, and it'll do the exact same thing. All right, now we can't see her in that circle, which is fine. We don't need to see her that much. She's, why not just look at her foot? But we have to. So let's do this. Let's move her. Now, you can still turn that layer on and off, and you can still move that layer and free transform that layer. We're just only seeing parts of that layer. So with my move tool selected or hit V, I'm going to drag that layer over until I see her in there. And then I'm going to just free transform her, Command T. And I can't see it because the whole thing she's bigger than the document. There it is. And I'm going to scale her down just kind of so I can see. I need to sort of see what she's doing a little bit. Just like that. Fill that up a little bit. At least I can tell she's ziplining. And there you go. And that's how you do something like that. So now those 2 layers sort of live together. All right. Not too bad. Let's do one more, and then I'm going to let you do the rest. Let's put in these surfer guys right here, this father and son surf thing. Let's go find that circle. That's this guy right here. Okay, so let's select that and go to File, hide that, File, Open, and find the surfing guys. There they are, and hit OK. Perfect. Let's go back down. Did I turn that layer off? I did turn that layer off. There it is. All right, so let's grab these guys. Holding down my shift key again, we're going to drag the picture of the 2 guys surfing, drag it over to our working document, holding down shift, and let go, and there it is. We don't need that guy. Now that we've done that, let's clip again. I'm going to hold down my Alt key and click in between those layers. I get the nice little turn down arrow and click, and they're in there. although you can't see them. We'll move them. Move tool V, and let's move them into the shot. Maybe we have to move that circle a little bit. That circle might be off just a little bit. Yeah, not too bad. I'm going to scale those two guys down just a little. Free transform. And holding down my Shift and Alt key, I want people to see that they are surfing. Just like that. Now, having said that, I want you to finish this thing. Finish adding the pictures to the rest of the circles. All right? You have the sample image, exactly what we just did. Bring the image over, clip it inside the circle, free transform and put it where it needs to be. Keep moving on till you have all circles filled up. Here's the pictures I want you to use right there. And I will see you back at part 4. Good luck.